kept to Good Morning Uganda, weekdays on UBC.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Was brought to you by. Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles or other services to get Senchu points. The more you use, the more Senchu points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Senchu.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Very interesting. Welcome to a month of 28 days. It's not every February that has 28 days, but this time around you have 28 days of this month, and every month gives you an opportunity to better plan, rethink. Of course it comes with challenges, but with a positive mindset, victory is your way. Of course, not forgetting the Creator. At the moment, find some time, pray and put the month forward. What a song by Philip Collins, and that is that is Another Day. Of course, it's on the same album with a song like Do You Remember, then Separate Lives. So Philip Collins, I want to believe Felix, at least when it comes to, because this music has been around for some time. You know, good music stays. Good music stays even long before people. Our times, you know, you see, our times had music. Your times had very good music.
Let me tell you, I am of the times of Asha Raymond, Genuine, the likes of R. Kelly, and the times of probably a bit of Britney Spears, Charlie's Angels. Now, Priscilla, in the time, in fact, Lady Gaga.
Yeah, Lady Gaga.
Some of us know people like PDD, DMX, Ja Rule, Ashanti. So them, they know Fik Fameka.
For us, we are you before
Gravito Mutuju.
Irene. The other one.
Irene Ntale. Now, Chila, of course, then will bring in Sabuye Semboga.
Who is that?
We'll bring in Basudo Mugenzi.
Let's have a lot of power.
This title of this song, the little man wange Sebata.
That's the one I saw of Sabuye Mchala, something like that. Then another one of the guy who had given the chick 50k and she was supposed to take off 1,000 shillings, and then they find themselves in Munimiro.
There's a song
And also, you listen to it now. We are going to start.
There's someone who has a collection of those songs. So they caused me to listen to them. No, Priscilla, you need to know these songs. I said, no way. But when I listened to it, they were just so hilarious. So what this is what people used to listen to back in the day. I found it very interesting.
And there's a song I want you to listen to. It's called Inache India by Spark. Something. You really enjoy that song.
Okay.
You see, those days artists would sing for about 10 minutes without repeating words. Your artists of today can sing and all the song rotates on 4 words.
Like which song, Robert?
I'm also, and sometimes, okay, you have a song like was it but some Chiwani, they don't have meaning. But days for us now,
because we want to emphasize the point.
It was music with a purpose.
You move from the point to the go to the neighbor's house in one song.
Let's do. But for us, it was music with a purpose. Every word in the song, if you listen to Paul Cafelo's songs, every word there. When you listen to the UB40, you know, every word there has. So, but now you have Awamidu, Chiwani, then even the artist says, okay, guess what was I meaning? That wasn't music over. Let's do.
Anyway, it's another day in paradise. It's another day and another month in paradise of 2021. Of course, we're most excited about this year, given how last year reflected on anyone. We are all coming into 2021 with positive vibes, and so this is another month of paradise in this year, and it's also another day here in Good Morning Uganda. You can stream live with us on our UBC Television Uganda channel on YouTube, and do not miss out on this fun, these smiles, and these generational musical legends.
Okay, you need to.
Let me take
but just come into hallelujah. Before we come to hallelujah, we need to put something straight, Priscilla. It would be insultive to put me, Robert, and
no, a generation would mean his generation, your generation,
but the generation,
my
the
generation.
Roberts don't want to pass on even. But anyway,
they don't want to pass it on.
But I guess we don't trust you.
Speaking about passing,
Just pass me.
Yes,
hallelujah. Tamarind drink. And of course, I wouldn't tire to tell our viewers and everyone watching UBC the benefits, and of course that's the ingredients of hallelujah tamarind drink. Now for some of you who need to have at least issues cleared, issues of blood pressure cleared, we're looking at cholesterol levels, and of course that is body detoxifier, weight management, fighting hangover. That is quite a challenge for some people. Skin cleansing, fights constipation there, and of course quenches thirst. Now anti-cancer, boosts your immunity, and this is attributed to times like this of COVID-19. Now of course, look at the ingredients. That is a potable water, tamarind pulp, sucrose, ginger, molondo, strawberry, and of course acidity regulators. Now again, in addition to the same, we'll be looking at the fact that this is a manufactured drink by Uganda. As we've been ushered into the 2021, we're trying to build your local production, and there's no better way for us to buy, because it trickles back into availing them to be able to make productions. Please get yourself hallelujah tamarind or hallelujah ginger tea drink today as you start this new month, aka the month of love. I don't know why they say it's the month of love. Do you feel love in the air?
Every month is the month.
That's the thing.
But
I don't know why. But you know, select certain days to commemorate. Certain days you have Mother's Day. I know now that, so you know, you have Father's Day, you have Women's Day. Know that other days
Father's Day
do not. Yes, Father's Day. These days do not matter. Just special recognition for this particular day. When you talked about ingredients in hallelujah, and you mentioned about skin what?
Cleansing.
Cleansing. It reminds me of our days. Ladies of our days did not spend so much money on makeup. They had very good skins because they would take these ingredients. We had the lemon there. We had the rosemary powder. They would take these foods in natural form. So now, hallelujah,
has putting them in a compilation.
They have compiled them together for you. You can reduce on your makeup budget. And it is testimony. I see my sister here taking them regularly. If you want to look as good as Priscilla,
don't touch the button
as
you
good
want.
As Priscilla, and then be able to teach you. Hallelujah. No, it's good to give credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. And when you admire certain things, because someone has really, I've never seen Priscilla put on so much of makeup. She's always natural.
Thank you so much.
So thank you for consuming hallelujah products.
I will do so continuously.
For the purpose of
We have to dive into our unusual story this morning, and today we are looking at NRM losers to be supported. This is a very interesting story. NRM losers to be supported. That is the national movement members of parliament who lost in the recent elections should know that the party is with them and will find ways of supporting them. That is according to President Museveni. Now the support here depends, but the story is very clear that the national chairman urged MPs to go back, integrate in the communities, and solve issues of homestead incomes for the people, which is currently a big challenge. The president also told the caucus that the country was progressing well on infrastructure front, but added that there are concerns about officials who had refused to fully implement the universal primary and secondary education program. President Museveni also pointed out challenges like land evictions, especially in Uganda, and cheating to have cost the NRM party some positions in some areas. The First Lady, also Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, used the occasion to ask MPs to support and explain to the public the government's position on reopening schools and higher institutions of learning. The Minister for Education warned against sending children to school before a comprehensive analysis and recommendation of the way forward by the expert. The government chief whip and woman MP for Chiboga District, Honorable Ruth Nankabira, commended the country for voting massively for President Museveni and NRM, mandating them to steer the country for the next 5 years. Now, this is a story, Felix, where we went in an election and a number of members that belong to the NRM party did not make it, more so in central region here. So it was prudent that the chairman invited them, and they had a talk over, and more so NRM is a family, they will support them.
Well, of course, Robert, it's, I don't know how better to put it. It's a sweet sour pill, if I may borrow the love language, since it's the love month. How and why? I don't know. I've not been on the side of losers, as you've called them, for many occasions. I don't know much about losing. But I know that any person who did participate in an election is not a loser. And probably this is what the president was trying to say to them. That when you offer yourself for service, service is not about selection. It's about where your heart is. I don't know, probably I hope this was the message that they picked out of this gathering. Uganda doesn't need its motion to be anchored in sentiments, whether conglomerate or individual for that matter. But by far it must be anchored into a team that shares a vision, even in the absence of positioning. In the same spirit, excuse me, this is what we have been faulting the opposition consistently, that you must find a balance to strike even without positioning. This is the time where we must see most evident assertions of the ruling party, that even amid such a loss, as you call it, or such a downfall in a particular region, we will see them extend the will to make things better than probably to show emotions and sentiments for that matter. I have been hearing people coming out and saying that the Uganda people were tribalistic. You've heard of those kind of statements. I find them foolhardy. I find them apocalyptic, backward. Find them seniors, you know. I find them shallow, if I may add. Because here's the thing. Let's imagine His Excellency got a landslide victory in the western region. Are they tribal?
Yes, they are. They belong to a tribe in a designated region.
Okay, yeah. Because people say that because the Uganda here voted like this, okay. So I think for me, we should get an approach that is far from minute. Exactly. They are very short-sighted, if you want also to say. And this is what I assume the president is saying, that when he talks about support, and I was asking Priscilla, I don't know in which kind of support, because is it them that need the support? The losers. Do they need support? They need to be, and this is what for me the letter when you're reading the story, that they must be incorporated back in their societies to fulfill their mandate even without positions. And for me this is more sensible. When you talk about finally, before I bring in Priscilla, Felix, the issue of support, Priscilla, don't you believe that most of these members of parliament that may not make it back require actually require some support, maybe psychological, financial.
Let's just do simple mathematics. You have been in parliament for 5 years. You have been earning a good salary. You've been getting allowances, per diems for all these things that you've been attending outside your parliamentary duties, and you have put up houses, rentals, farms, all these are at the back of your names, especially in reference to the ones that were ousted in the recent elections. You get to look at them and they're not having a bad life. They are living a good life on Ugandan taxpayers' money that we're talking about.
Politics of really invest. People have invested a big.
Politics has become a business. Politics in this country has become a career of sorts. It has become a money-looking, hunting venture. If I want to make money, I just need to get into parliament and I make money. And they've made their money. And they've lived the extravagant life that we have seen them living. And one wonders that from the investments that they have made, are they not be able to live on? There's pension for them. Can they not survive on that pension? Nevertheless, in their extravagance, why should a political party, because these particular ones have lost, is it because these particular ones who lost this time round were quite important. We're talking about, you know, Vice President Sekandi and the other big shots that lost out.
A lot of beneficiaries at a level Vice President when you do not.
Yes, as a Vice President, thank you so much for your service. But when we go back to your constituency, by the time you were ousted, this was the voice of the people speaking, that maybe you served them well, but now they look to someone else to serve them. Maybe you did not serve them well, and now they're looking for another person who could also serve them better than you did. After all, most of them have served their constituencies for a long period of years. I mean, we're talking 10, 20, 25 years. Isn't that enough service to the people?
Enough service.
You're back to being a normal Ugandan. What's wrong with that?
You need support.
And you need support.
You need support.
But also,
first, let me just chip in here. First and foremost,
you need support to get out of office and settle in back as a normal Ugandan. Yes. But also what Felix stated, that, and I remember there's a person we hosted here, and they said that leadership is not position.
That is Honorable Mike Sebab.
Leadership is not position. So we still regard them as leaders. We still regard them in terms of what they have to say, their opinion, their views.
And once honorable is honorable, they always do.
Thank you very much. So we still find them wise, and we definitely would want to see them do other things that will bring solutions to their different communities that they're in, and will also be vocal in attracting service delivery back to these places in which.
But also there's one thing before Felix comes in that I remember one of the ministers who lost came out and made a couple of statements. Now the NRM treasurer, that is Rosemary Namayan, just said, you people, when you lose an election, there's so much that happens. So maybe the honorable minister said this time around, politics has been commercialized, so much commercialized, and there is huge investment that people put in politics.
You know,
so once you do not go through psychologically, financially,
Robert, please, don't even.
I want to be how you put an African and psychologically.
Now,
if people have put their houses,
let me throw to
maybe
you a stinky piece of meat. The most economically useless people in any economy, and you can challenge me, are politicians.
I can challenge you, and I beg to differ from you.
And listen, the most useless in terms of economics are the politicians. Okay? How much today you've been discussing these things throughout the week, that members of parliament are going to be paid how much money to buy cars?
300 million.
Where is the return on that? No. How much do you need to build a hospital, Chirabo, a health center for?
Center for about 300 million can build.
So you're even discussing these people, we are doing a disservice already. On top of what they have earned or eaten or wasted, the journeys, the useless words, some of them never see. Now you want us to, so that's what I'm saying. I want to give you now a stinky piece of the meat. That in as much as, and that's the truth, painful truth. You know, apart from giving, tell me what do they do? In terms of economics, I say, yes, in terms of what they decide shapes the economic policy. Give me 4 policies. The
levels of taxation.
Robert, no, let's be serious. Give me 4 different economic policies the previous parliament has passed that have influenced income in this country.
You saw the OT taxation. How much have we gotten from that as parliament? Go and ask Minister of ICT. What is the billions out of that? Billions out of that. As a country,
let me inform you.
That is something very important.
You got those billions, yes. But you know how many people have been put off that radar with performance into the economics as well?
That has not been quantified.
Look at the effect. Look at the effect of the absence or the not being available of internet to reach Ugandans. How much of work you look at research, Robert? Is it a better or a worse? Are we in a better state or a worse state?
Worse state, because the burden still comes back to me, the Ugandan, to pay that, yet I'm already under service.
Just a moment, in addition to that, these are the people who pass the law, and then they ask parliament to pay for them with the taxes.
You get, so it's at no cost for them, but a cost to
now
the people.
I'm talking about economic state or national economic value. You don't bring OTT. Don't bring OTT. Let's be honest. Let's talk about value addition. The president has been talking about commercializing agriculture. Which policy came from parliament? about that?
Agriculture.
Well, they passed the budget that favors that wealth creation. They passed the budget. So, for
we were talking about budget here last week, and we were reliably informed that the budget for health has stayed at the same percentage, even with COVID-19. And who is it affecting?
Actually,
it's affecting us, because for them they have insurance,
everything
they go to India, everything for them is sorted.
And at that level, let me also tell you, you are talking about Smiley passed a budget. I'm talking about policy. Budget is not policy, Robert. Yes, why did they pass a law? Talk about fishing. Do we need a law? We need a law for agricultural produces, exportation and importation. We're talking about profit repatriation. People come here, do business, and then they take all
the money.
All this, Robert. If you can't protect a country's expenses, but yet you're part of the, you're the one who always picks money, it's going to come time and there will be nowhere to pick from. I'm talking about the most useless.
But now it brings in the question that in this party, is there a budget to support these people, and from where is this money coming that is just there to support MPs that have been ousted? And why are they supporting them this time round? Why haven't they supported the ones who were ousted in 2016 and the times before?
Political terrain has changed. That 2016.
I also feel that this is a wrong, in my opinion, it is wrong nurturing for politics, because you see, every time, and this is what we have been telling opposition leaders, that don't feel so self-deserving. That's the wrong attitude.
Very true.
I won. It should have been me. I am the president. No. Why you in everyone's back to make, you know? No, that's self-deserving. If it is not me, you go home. Go and sleep. Let other people pick up from there. There is no half goal in life.
Well, that is the NRM. It is a family, and they'll stand with their colleagues. Let's first take a look at the 11th Parliament. How is each of the parties that participated standing? You see, NRM has 316 members of Parliament, so it has, that is about 63.5%. That is NRM. Then you have the independents. They stand at there are 73 in number in the 11th Parliament. That is 14.7%. You have NUP. It has 61 members of Parliament. That is 12.2%. FDC has 28 members of Parliament, and that is 5.6%. UPC has 10 members of Parliament, which is 2.0%. DP has 8 members of Parliament, that is 1.6%. JEMA, 1 member of Parliament. PPP, that is 1 member of Parliament. I think that is Abedi Bwanika, Pastor Abedi Bwanika. Then
no.
Is a NUP.
And PPP is what it wasn't.
PPP
is, that is
People's Progressive Party. Yeah, that is Bidan is not. Then ANT did not get any member of Parliament.
No. There's Moses, the one in Mwiru. Yes, Mwiru.
Okay, I think Narcissus didn't capture that. But that is how we expect the 11th Parliament to be. Still, NRM has the lion's share. Now the leading opposition, previously it was FDC. This time around it is National Unity Platform. We expect also, I think they come up with a leader of opposition. I've had a bit of scrambling for that position already.
It's not scrambling. Why do you refer to it as scrambling?
Scrambling. Who gets seats?
It's simple politics.
Obviously, it is. They do go through a criteria to decide who is going to be representing them in terms of opposition leader. But that's not scrambling.
Yeah. But Robert, for me, if I may say this lastly, and in regards to both the things or the aspects you brought into play at this time of our discussion, I want you to take notice that politics, when people start feeling self-deserving, they are never going to give you service. I am threatened by individuals or institutions that make reference to individualism than commonality. It makes us get afraid if we can trust such kind of people. I get frightened when I hear leaders say that you would want to be compensated. Because then that is the evidence of the interior motive that
for what have you done?
You are in a transaction
for 5 years. We have rewarded you for that. For what you think?
Robert, on a serious note, how many Ugandans, dude? Do you know how many Ugandans need a safe landing? I can tell you of a million hungry people.
Also in the times of COVID, many teachers are still, private teachers in private schools are still calling for their...
You talk about safe landings, Robert. That is an insult to some of the Ugandans who will switch on the radio or their cassette. I used to call it in your days, they switch on their cassette. And they will hear someone say that we are going to give you this. And then a teacher who went to school, who has not been working for now close to a year. And how do you think they feel?
For their money.
You know, you're talking about a person who can hardly now move from one place to another. Talking about a woman or a husband or a mother or a child who lost, you know the problems of Uganda. Let's be honest.
Well, let's end by leaving that question to Ugandans. Unfortunately, because of social media, I would have enjoyed comments should members of parliament that lost in the just concluded elections be supported, and if so, how best should they be supported?
Psychologically, and to go back to their homes.
Psychologically,
probably they can say we are going to put a bus and we shall put a poster.
Okay, let me just how should they be supported?
Simply,
how should they be supported?
Again, provide them with trucks to empty the offices, and yes, go home.
Well, I'll give them some bit of smaller.
We have better
find a way
of
how best they can solve a few issues that have come up with their contesting and not winning an election, mostly in the times of where we've commercialized politics so much. With that, when we return, we will be looking at some of the interesting stories in the print media. Keep it on UBC TV. We'll return shortly.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Bw'oyogeranya ffe Uganda ekkula lya Afrika tolemwa kumwenya olw'akamwenyumwenyu akajjudde abanywanyi. Embeera y'obudde yatukolako mukwano n'obutonde obutubeezaawo ne butusobozesa buli omu okubeerawo mu ngeri ye kuba ffenna tuli banjawulo ne mu ngeri gye tukwasaganyamu emirimu gyaffe. Naye ekitugatta ne tufuuka omuntu omu bwe buwoomi obuva mu kyokunywa ekyaleeruya jingatte drink n'aleeruya tamarin drink eddekende erikumala ennyonta ate nga wejjanjaba omubiri gwo. Ekyokunywa kino kye kitegeera emibiri gyaffe kuba kya butonde 100 ku 100. Woomerwa ekyokunywa ekirimu omubisi gw'enkooge aleluya tamarin drink n'aleluya jingatte drink bikolebwa ba aleluya reflexology healthy solution and nutritional research center limited. Wafunira ekyokunywa kya aleluya leero okuva ku maduuka wonna. Bakubire ku noti 393 24 15 66.
This this month has also begun with a lot of interesting things. We've just been discussing how NRM members that contested for MP and various should be have facilitated. Now, New Vision brings a big headline there, and that is Museveni to create fund for NRM losers.
Only the president. When you are the president, you have powers to do anything. Yeah. But on whose budget? NRM budget or government budget?
That we shall cross the bridge when we get there. But NRM has never fallen short of finances. It is a mass party. It has some people that fund it and willingly do so with funds. And hey, it is their time. So what happens if it's their time? There's no scarcity of money in NRM. What can't be?
Speaking of time, we do have tomorrow something interesting happening for Uganda also. In the airspace, we get to have another Airbus joining our Uganda Airlines fleet of airplanes, and it's arriving tomorrow, so that is something exciting to look out for as Ugandans as we bring another A330. Very interesting.
Interesting. Now we shall have the 4 Bombardiers plus Airbus 1 and then 2. Those are 6. Yeah, we have a very big to there, and of course for Ugandans that is also progressive development as well.
Speaking of progressive development, even for the music industry, hosting the Mama Africa Awards, the MTV Africa Awards, that is definitely something we have to talk about. As the times come, as the days go by, we must bring Calvin here to, you know, to shed some more light about this MTV Africa Awards. We've been seeing them in South Africa, in Nigeria, you know, in all those big countries where we feel like, yeah, the artists are good. But to come to Uganda, and it's going to be hosted by DJ Khaled, yes, like I'm thinking, it's going to be a nice month of love indeed.
Indeed. There's something interesting on social media that I saw regarding the Mama Awards. Your neighbor says to make jokes. He said, "No Mama Awards, taking
Starting off the Daily Monitor on Monday, the first day of February 2021, we get to look at the headlines. Confusion marks schools reopening. A stalemate. Scientists and Ministry of Education authorities have locked horns over plans to reopen schools for all other classes close to 1 year since they were closed following the outbreak of coronavirus. We get to look at the Daily Monitor pictorial headline, Bamasaba Kingship, government to mediate in row over new Omukuka. And you're having the Mkuka, and you know, people are speaking out about this particular matter. You get to look at page 7 of the Daily Monitor, first day of Feb. State drops case against CAA official, and then we also get to look at government appointing 15 new chief magistrates, as well as experts rejecting genetically modified mosquitoes. I was looking forward to these mosquitoes, Chirabo. I wanted to see what they look like. No, they can actually be, they can't bite you, but they do not spread malaria. So
as we are excited, for me I was scared, because sometimes scientists develop things that at the end of the day go out of the way, and some of these developments, these genetic things,
and the backfiring.
So for a poor country, a third world country like Uganda, take it somewhere else.
All right, we get to look at the lizard at the bottom, responding to a headline. Police await Museveni order to arrest boxers killers. Don't they have their own job description instead of waiting around for an order? 2021 polls at the top of the Daily Monitor front page. You look at Museveni blaming NRM poll failure in Uganda on land grabbing. You want to understand what he's meaning by this statement? Page 6 of the Daily Monitor has the full story. Healthy living, the part the mind plays in physical fitness, is on page 27. Some people just want to get into the action of physical fitness. 5 days down the road, they are expired and they don't want to continue with the drill. Well, understand that the mind plays a very big role. We love readers like you, says Daily Monitor, as we kick off the month of love.
In the New Vision, we have President says most in the central region were cheated out. NRM, their victory, they cheated them in the central region, and that is to create a fund for NRM losers. That is on page 6 of the New Vision. Also 250 jobs for Judicial Service Commission. That is Kitagwenda, Rwanda, Ruchiga, and local governments inside there for you. Today, past O level, they bring you mathematics, chemistry, and computer. And tomorrow, senior to physics and biology. Still, government to communicate schools reopening date. Cabinet will meet today, discuss the opening of schools, and many Ugandans are eager. That is on page 4 of the new vision. Bisaka, that is Obushobozi's body, will not be buried but will be in all of these rooms there for people to keep on viewing. You know, this was a person who was referred to as a god to his believers, and many have said that even after with his last breath, he has appeared to them physically in visions. He's still alive, though gone. Then we have 15 grade 1 magistrates promoted, that is page 4. And then on policy, Lands Minister Betty Kamya issues notice of eviction, that is page 36 to 41 there. COVID-19, Uganda records 1,448 cases in 2 weeks. Full story, that is on page 4, very unfortunate there. That's not so good news. Then youth delegates converge today to elect their MPs, and we'll be discussing this in our Good Morning Uganda agenda, where we expect the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, Paul Bukenya, to be joining us on set. There are some elections still going on today, tomorrow, but we'll be discussing more, so don't miss our segment. That is our Good Morning Uganda agenda. On page 2, know your member of parliament. They've brought you a number of them there. That is Aluge County, that is in Palisa, who is the member of parliament. Get to know more. Bukanga County, Isingiro, Soroti City. That is, this is a man who was very interesting. He was a priest. He quit, actually was suspended from priesthood after showing interest in politics, and he won the election. So we are going to have a priest in the 11th parliament there, Priscilla. COVID-19 cases, death toll stands at 324 for Uganda. For Rwanda, it is 193. Come to Kenya, 1,755. South Sudan, 64. Countries leading in the world worst hit by COVID-19. USA leads, India, Brazil, Russia, then the United Kingdom.
The Daily Guide this morning is bringing you in the news Robert Gulani, and that is the National Unity Platform leader, having notified Supreme Court that he will file a petition challenging the re-election of President Museveni. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, has gambled by not imposing a third national lockdown to contain COVID-19 against expectations and advice of his most senior scientific advisors. From the archives today, they bring you the year was 2017 at the annual Uganda Manufacturers Association trade show, where you had State Minister of Tourism Godfrey Chiwanda receiving a gift from the staff of Movit Product Limited during that annual association. And then you also had Today in History, Speak crosses into Sudan from Uganda, as well as Uganda's first. Elizabeth II was the first queen to tour Uganda. Crossing over to the sports section of the Daily Monitor, this morning we get to look at locally. UPAL returns for 10th season run. You get to look at the teams, their standings on the table, and the fixtures that are ahead starting February 6th, where you have Vipers against Maida. You do have Express against Vipers on the 9th of this month. We get to look at another story locally, where Sentamu's wilted career sprout at Vipers. Also in sports summary, Nanyondo in second place in High Hope. In Woodball, this is my last term, says Woodball boss. You also get to look at the world of tennis. Venus Williams makes winning start at OC. And in the English Premier League, Ole 6 United cutting edge. Those are some of the stories appearing in the Daily Monitor for you this morning.
In the New Vision Sports, all foreign reports are inside there. Then Count on Us, who is the National Council for Sports. China pledged to support Woodball in Uganda, and a new president being sworn in, that is President Uganda Woodball Federation, that is Paul Kayongo, being sworn in just another time. Who are some of the contestants there? The New Vision brings you that in sports. Priscilla, before we wind up this, have you ever played Woodball?
No, I have not played Woodball. I've seen people playing Woodball, yes.
I got a chance. My young brother plays Woodball, but I saw it as a funny sport. At least golf there is so much energy, but with woodball there is so much of calculation.
You see, you're saying it's a funny sport because you're referring it to golf, and in golf people, spend a lot of money to play, and also the kind of people that play golf are prestigious people in different parts of the world.
Also a bit
so
of
that
energy.
is why you're coming from that angle. But there's no difference, and if you actually get to understand and fall in love with woodball, you get to realize it's just that you are using wood here and the other side they're using metallic, but it's pretty much the same concept that we're going for. And do not call it a weak sport. It is a sport, because if you can't do it, then sure it is a sport. Yeah.
I like more of energetic sports. That's why I play badminton.
You see, sport is not just energetic. Sport is also mental. That's what people keep forgetting. And I like the story that is appearing in the Daily Monitor today, that the mind is part of your sports activation. And so if you think that it's just going to be physical, you're going to burn out in 10 minutes of running around the pitch, or your football that you're claiming to like. And guess what? It's because your mentor has decided, you know what, this is not for us, Robert. Us is just to sit down and be big is big.
Not have calories. A sport will lose some calories, but for everybody, as you leave your home, your most desire is how fast do you get to your destination and how safe do you get to your destination. So Priscilla Naroga every morning in Good Morning Uganda brings you the traffic updates to update you of the various routes that are safe and quicker to your destination. We return with Priscilla giving us traffic updates.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Yes! Enjoy great value from Airtel with the all-new My Pakalast combo offers. We have customized especially for you the best deals on minutes Pakalast combo to give you the best value as you stay in touch with friends and family. To activate My Pakalast voice combo, dial *100*2*1# to get started.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Buyogera nyaffe Uganda ku Radio Africa tolemwa kumwenya olw'akamwenyumwenyu akajjudde abanywanyi. Embeera y'obudde yatukolako omukwano n'obutonde obutubeezaawo ne butusobozesa buli omu okubeerawo mu ngeri ye, kuba ffenna tuli banjawulo ne mu ngeri gye tukwasaganyamu emirimu gyaffe. Naye ekitugatta ne tufuuka omuntu omu, bwe buwoomyo obuva mu kyokunywa ekyaleeru yajingatte drink n'aleeru ya tamarin drink, eddekende erikumala ennyonta ate nga wejjanjaba omubiri gwo. Ekyokunywa kino kye kitegeera emibiri gyaffe kuba kya butonde 100 ku 100. Yemerwa ekyokunywa ekirimu omubisi gw'enkooge Alleluia Tamarin Drink n'Alleluia Ginger Tea Drink bikolebwa ba Alleluia Reflexology Healthy Solution and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Wafunira ekyokunywa kya Alleluia leero okuva ku maduuka wonna. Bakulire ku noti 393 24 15 66.
Needs, come to Capital Shoppers. We have a variety of items like foods, garments, cosmetics, and all sorts of drinks. Enjoy your shopping experience at affordable prices in our fully stocked branches in the following areas: Ntinda Station Road, opposite Makere Business School along Portbell Road, Duster Street opposite Nakasero Market, and Garden City on Yusuf Lule Road. To all our customers and suppliers, we thank you for your continuous support. Stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, and wear your mask always.
How do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do.
Thank you for today, and thank you for tomorrow. Thank you for every time and everywhere you go.
that we will call with you. That's why we
MTN ekubaza nti thank you olw'okutulonda mu bangi. Kozesa MTN Mobile Money bundles ow'empereza ya MTN endala yonna weefunire thank you points gy'okuma okukozesa gy'okuma okufuna thank you points tweyamba okubaweereza emyaka mingi egijja mu maaso nga tuli ffenna. Thank you.
This is Good Morning Uganda. This is Good Morning This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Once again, welcome to the first day of February 2021. Exciting month that gets everyone's blood pressure and sugar levels really high. Traffic updates here for you in Good Morning Uganda. I would like to send a special shout out to you, Rita. I had a meeting with Rita on Friday and she was telling me, Priscilla, you served me what they call traffic jam in Kampala, because now I simply get to my phone, find out how is the traffic flow for the route that I want to take, and then I use the alternative according to the guidance of the traffic updates, and I have been getting to my workplace earlier than I have usually been doing. So you too can actually also use this to just guide you on how best you can maneuver around, especially on a Monday when people choose to get into offices at the earliest time of convenience because of the jam that builds up. Monday, people are taking back kids to school, and so it contributes to the heftiness of the jam. But also we have the summers that are coming in. After elections, most of our summers did not come in simply because of election period. But now elections are done and dusted, and I have some Basama friends who are telling me now we're going to be coming back in Feb. So I'm thinking, if I have to pick up Msama from Entebbe Airport, what does the traffic jam look like from Entebbe Airport this morning? Well, from the airport, you do have a wonderful curve that goes around Civil Aviation Authority head office, a little bit of a red line that we're seeing on this Kampala Road, which is in Entebbe. This is Wakiso district, by the way. We get to look at this red line. What is causing this red line is simply because of a hefty security check before you get into the airport grounds. And so they do have a serious security check, they do have paperwork check, and also because of the entrance slip that you have to get, it does slow down jam here, and so that is why we always have that red line. There's no solution to it because it's only one way. We get to see our way around Lake Victoria, where you do have the ring coming through of Kampala Road, past Lake Victoria there, where you do have Little Beach and some little bit of green lines there to show you that there's some motion of vehicles in this particular area, but there is no jam coming through. Following Kampala Road all the way into the deep of Entebbe as a town, the areas of Chitoro, Busia, you get to see that it's actually also very clear to pass this morning, except for a little red line, and the line is simply because of intersection roads, feeder roads that do feed onto Kampala Road, and then they do bring about this jam. But also there's a little bit of construction going on here, and so that's why you're seeing that sort of red line. Around Lake Victoria, we continue to maneuver around the lake that is very beautiful. When you are there past sunset, it's actually wonderful to watch. We get to then join Porto Road, and this morning Porto Road, except for the sharp corners there that we do have entry routes into the main road, that is why you're having a little bit of jam build up just here from Hill Road and also from the upper side of Entebbe town. And now that has actually increased right now because of there's a traffic light at this particular junction. That is why we're seeing that. Then we get to maneuver around the beautiful lake that is Lake Victoria. We get to see elsewhere on this road, you get to see it around Entebbe School. There's no jam. Then you get to look to Forest and Beach, Chitubululu. You get to see a little bit of jam picking up simply because of the feeder roads that are getting into the main road. We are looking at Entebbe. If you're making your journey all the way from Entebbe Airport, what does the flow of jam look like this morning? We also get so basically, Entebbe as a town around Awaita Babili is looking very clear for you to pass. In case you were caught up by time, well, guess what? You can actually still make it in time. Around the area of Mpala and Kumba University, there's also not so much jam. Then we get to the diversion. That is the Kampala-Entebbe Express Highway. And this diversion here comes in when we have routes that are coming down to this side, which joins Kampala Entebbe Road, which is the old route. But if you're going to use the express highway, which we could use this morning and see how far we can take it, obviously it's going to be a clear route because it's an express highway. But just allow me to first come back here and see the rest of Entebbe and how it looks like this morning. Around St. Mary's Chisui, it's looking very passable. You get to follow the rest of the Entebbe Highway. You get to look at coastal rehabilitation. You get to look at it also being clear, except for a little red line for vehicles that are coming in from this residential area that do bring up the jam there. Kampala-Entebbe Road, which is the main road around Namulanda, does not have any jam, surprisingly. Chisubi High School area does not have any jam. We get to tilt it a little bit and see how far we can stretch it on Entebbe-Kampala Highway. Bevaja brings in another area that should be having some sort of jam here because of the sharp corners and because residentials are trying to get into the heart of the city. But surprisingly, also in the area of Bevaja, does not have the jam this morning. We also get to look at another area into Chitende. Now this is where the jam starts to build up. You get to have Chitende feeding into Kajansi. Now because there is a big trading center here, you do have traders on either side, supermarkets on either side, you do have commuter taxis on either side, and you also do have construction happening in these areas here that brings about the presence of so many trucks around Chitende and Kajansi. So this is why you're having the jam build ups all the way from Chitende into Kajansi, which brings you to the roundabout. Now this roundabout is the Entebbe Express Highway roundabout. This side you're going to Munyonyo. When you take the upper side, you might end up in the areas of Busega or other routes that you can get off there. But also this just continues you to Entebbe Road. Now let's go back to Entebbe Express Highway. Obviously from the areas where you have Chisubi, it's a clear route, and we just want to see where you can actually get off and join other areas when you use the Entebbe Express Highway. You have Nachigarara. You get to look at that area. It is used as the Entebbe Express Highway. It does have an intersection route there in Bukwenda. That is also another route that intersects with Entebbe Kampala-Entebbe Express Highway. You get to look at a Kampala-Entebbe Express Highway continuing all the way into the areas of Wakiso. You get to look at it getting intersected with Masaka Road, and Masaka Road is where you have the areas of Busega. So this is where the express highway from Entebbe drops you, so you can actually get off on these routes this is a Busega roundabout, so you can get off at this route and Busega Trading Center. You can also use it to continue to either the likes of Nansana and Kampala Northern Bypass, or you can actually use it if you're connecting from the areas of Lenga and you want to get to the airport Entebbe. You want to basically get to any area beyond Chitende, you want to use the express Entebbe Highway, and then it does drop you here. Then you can end up in Natete, Wakariga, Mengo, Ruvaga, and be able to get into the heart of the city. So that is how interesting it is. So if you want to avoid the jam on Entebbe Road, which by the way can stand still for over an hour, then I highly recommend that you start learning, teaching yourself this Kampala Entebbe Express route. It should be able to get you to the desired places. But looking at Busega this morning, where we have landed, we get to see a little bit of jam build up on this side there is the Busega market. You do also have commuter taxis on this other side route getting into Kampala, the likes of Chibuye and Ndeva. We get to see that little bit of jam building up there. We bring it down to see what Natete looks like this morning. Now Natete, adjacent to it is Mutunwe Road, which is a road that was recently done, and it is a wonderful shortcut for people that are coming in from Entebbe. You can pass through Nyanama, get to Star, you get to Chitebi, and you end up on this Mutunwe Road if you want to get to Natete and Busega. You don't have to go through the jam that builds up in the areas of Ndeva at about this time. Looking at Natete, still we get to look at the crosses here. This is the cross junction here where you do have traffic lights, and of course because everyone is starting off their week and they're choosing to start it off earlier than expected, you do have some jam build-ups in this particular area. But away from that, we get to continue looking at Nalukolongo plant this morning. You do have of course a little bit of jam build-up because of this cross section here from Eliana Junior, which also still connects you back to the area of Mutundwe. This is another shortcut that people use getting back into Mutundwe, or people from Mutundwe do use this shortcut. Auntie Christine, good morning to you. I trust that these areas are very familiar to you. We get to look at the rest of it, getting into Kabusu, where you do have jam building up on Wankurukuku Road in the area of Kabusu. You do have some little bit of jam that is building up there. Then we come into Ndeva. Looking at Ndeva coming in from Kaboa, you do have the jam building up there from Kaboa into Ndeva, but past that joining the ring road, it's actually okay. The bigger picture of the ring road this morning is that it's a very good shortcut for you to use this morning. However, warning, ring road from Ndeva, you're trying to join Rwanda, has a lot of potholes. So if your car is not in a good condition, you might want to stick to the main road, which is Ndeva. Then you pass through Rubaga, past Miracle Center, and get into the other areas that you want to get into. Yes, so that's pretty much how town looks like. Shibuya, of course, you do expect this madness every single morning for about 3 hours all the way to 10 a.m. So that's how the traffic is looking like this morning. Thank you so much, and trusting that you're going to make a safe way into town and get into the order of business. Speaking of order of business, we do have Good Morning Agenda coming through this morning, where Robert Chioma is going to be hosting someone. We're going to be talking about post-elections, and the conversations will continue thereafter.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Connect to the world for free on Ayoba. Chat with friends for free. Play games all day for free. Jam to Ziki for free. You can also send money through Ayoba. Absolutely no MBs needed. To download the app, visit www.mtn.co.ug/mymtn and select Ayoba.
Everywhere you go, MTN. Bwirugiranya fe Uganda kulali Afrika. Tulema kumwenya. Olwaka mwenyu wakajjudde abanywanyi. Embera y'obudde yatukolako mukwano n'obutonde obutubeezaawo. Nebutusobozesa buli omu okubeerawo mu ngeri ye. Kuba ffenna tuli banjawulo ne mu ngeri gye tukwasaganyamu emirimu gyaffe. Naye ekitugatta ne tufuuka omuntu omu. Bwe buwoomi obuva mu kyokunywa, ekyaleeruya jingatte drink, n'aleeruya tamarin drink, eddekende erikumala ennyonta, ate nga wejjanjaba omubiri gwo. Ekyokunywa kino kye kitegeera emibiri gyaffe, kuba kya butonde 100 ku 100. Yemerwa ekyokunywa ekirimu omubisi gw'enkooge, Alleluia tamarin drink n'Alleluia jingatte drink bikolebwa ba Alleluia Reflexology Health Solution and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Mufunira ekyokunywa kya Alleluia leero okuva ku maduuka wonna. Bukulire ku noti 393 24 15 66.
Shopping needs, come to Capital Shoppers. Shoppers, we have a variety of items like foods, garments, cosmetics, and all sorts of drinks. Enjoy your shopping experience at affordable prices in our fully stocked branches in the following areas: Ntinda Station Road, opposite Makere Business School along Portbell Road, Justice Street opposite Nakasero Market, and Garden City on Yusuf Lule Road. To all our customers and suppliers, we thank you for your continuous support. Stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, and wear your mask always.
Double data. Airtel introduces double data, the biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
School doesn't tolerate violence against children,
because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello children, this is Auntie Jovita from Auntie Jovita Children's Foundation. At Auntie Jovita Children's Foundation, we aim at putting a smile on every child. How we do it, God knows. When we see a child smile, we are happy. COVID-19 has presented itself with so many challenges, and one of the biggest challenges is teenage pregnancy. However, all is not lost. Today, let's listen to a message of hope from the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, Miss Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, and a message of hope about teenage pregnancy. So, with a teenage pregnancy, during this COVID, it has actually somehow, the percentages have actually escalated. And we at Auntie Jovita Children's Foundation, we are thinking, what can we do for these girls? Because some of them, they are victims because they didn't go in for it by themselves. Others, it's peer pressure. Others, it's idleness. And others, of course, it's family. Go and get married, and this girl is a child, and before you know, they are pregnant. And as we partially open schools, we want you to give a message. Why are we doing this? Because we believe the world believes in you. Because I think people have tried, but now they stuck.
First, I know that it was not their plan to get pregnant. So the reasons are many why it happened, but I think that they're part of the human resource of Uganda. You may find that the young person who make them pregnant is also a young person, so both of them are valuable to Uganda. So I think that we should give them an opportunity to come back to school and complete their studies. so they should not be stigmatized. This is something that I think in law what we call force majeure, something that you cannot, you can't control it. So for me, I think that we should acknowledge them as our children and guide them, because the failings of the parents somehow enable this and also the situation. So for me, I think that we should look at them as the human resource of Uganda and help them to develop their potential.
Now we need to understand that some of the communities, they have been, as you said, stigmatized. In some communities, the children have been sent out from home. So for that child who's watching you, what message do you have for her? She's pregnant, she's a young girl, she needs to hear from you.
I would just say that I want to feel that I understand what happened to them, and that it was not their plan, and therefore we should look at it in that context and understand that they are children and they still need guidance, they still need protection, they still need a home, and they still need to complete their studies.
And on their health bit, what would you say?
Obviously, anyone getting pregnant should now have to undergo the 8 visits, antenatal visits. But sometimes if the child is on their own, maybe they don't even know that they're supposed to go for the antenatal clinic. So I think that if this has happened, they should go to the nearest health facility. But also I want to appeal to the adults who are running the hospitals not to attack them, to support them, explain things to them, and guide them to be able to go through this difficult period.
Right, Honorable Speaker, what message do you have?
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
It is Monday, the 1st of Feb, so start your week energetic. Remember, this Monday is special in a way because it also starts a new month, and this time around you're having February of 28 days. So whatever you do at the beginning of the month, many a times determines how you wind up your month. So have a great start, wake up early, arise and shine, positive mindset, and you will be more than a conqueror by the end of the month. It is Good Morning Uganda agenda. I'm Robert Chirabo, in case you've just tuned in, and this is a time where I discuss issues of national concern, most so with our guests in studios. Today we are going to be discussing elections. Since the 11th of January, Ugandans have been voting at various levels. Do not wither, do not tire, because this is a time when you're choosing people that are going to take up leadership for the next 5 years. Today we have an election that is also happening, because it's already 7, so it's kicked off. That is we're electing regional conference for elections of regional youth representatives. We're electing youth representatives to parliament in the various regions of this country. And with us in studios to discuss issues of elections is the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, Paul Bukenya. Wana Paul.
Yes, sir.
You're most welcome.
Very much appreciation for always inviting me here to be on Good Morning Uganda and to talk about the electoral programs that we're going through. And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be with our audiences this morning.
How is the work at the Electoral Commission? Are you feeling stretched? Are you the pressure, the outcomes? How are you handling? It seems this is the most tricky time of your job there.
Yeah, it's quite a volume. It's quite a lot of work, but we planned and we knew that it would be a lot of work. We prepared mentally, physically, but of course when the real I think happens.
Spending sleepless nights at service centers.
It happens like that. You need to go all the way. And we're working with the people, we're working with the parties, the candidates, with the media, with you guys. So it's all of us working together, and that gives the energy to go on. And we must deliver the product, the mandate. We must deliver the roadmap. So we are managing. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of course, of pressure here, phone calls, and this is happening, this is not happening, lots of things to reach out and attend to. But we work together, we work with teams, we work with stakeholders, and we deliver. So we are delivering. And now we are in the very last week of the roadmap. So we are pushing it all the way. Sure.
So we're going to be handling two things that go. We have youth elections, that is for today. But remember, youth elections are handled in electoral colleges. They are not every Ugandan that participates. It is under Electoral Commission, electoral colleges. So we'll discuss that briefly, but we'll concentrate more on election for sub-county chairpersons and councillors, where all Ugandans will be participating. Remember, this is also another important election, and this is what is going to close the electoral calendar come the 3rd. Paul, let's begin with youth elections. For Ugandans, I've seen in Mbale, they're already prepared. I've seen tents around. I've been watching a couple of clips on internet, how they're prepared. But briefly for our viewer, when we talk about youth elections, what are we referring to here?
Well, the youth are represented in the Parliament of Uganda. By law, it's one of the special interest groups that are represented in Parliament. And for that matter, we organize elections for them to elect their representatives. And this election is by electoral college. Of course, if you remember, along the roadmap, we've been conducting elections to build the structures for elections of special interest groups. So the youth started building the structures from the village level, went to the parish, we got the county. We came to the district, we got the delegates. So now what we have today happening in the 4 regions of Uganda are delegates conferences, where those members of the committees at the district and other levels, as prescribed by the law, the National Youth Council statute and all the regulations, are now gathering in the 4 regions of Uganda for purposes of electing the youth representative to Parliament. So we have a delegates conference convened in Gulu, Peche Stadium today. They started getting together yesterday, Sunday, 31st Jan, and now there is another equal big group. They were in thousands, because depending each district,
it's about 4,200.
Well, each depending on the number of districts,
from 40 districts,
because the districts send the delegates and also some other mandated, bodies like the National Students Union and others, which send a delegate. So we have a meeting in Peche Stadium. Of course, we're in thousands for Gulu, for Northern Region. They will elect one youth MP for the region.
So that is all districts in Northern Region.
They are coming together.
They are coming together to elect their representative.
Yeah, whole of West Nile, Karamoja region, Lango and Acholi, they are coming together. Then we have Eastern Region convening in Mbale. Mbale Senior Secondary School.
40 districts are convening in
Mbale. And then we have, that is Eastern, starts from Busoga and goes all the way up to Teso. Then we have Western, the whole of Western, Bunyoro, Toro, and Kole Chigezi, they're convening at Ntale School in Mbarara City. And of course, Central, we are convening at Mubende National Teachers College to elect the members of Parliament. So these delegates already are known. They have a register, and the candidates were nominated last December at the Electoral Commission. So what's going to happen is that we're going to have an election, secret ballot, and announce the winners today and have the 4 members of Parliament elected. Now this completes the representatives to Parliament, because it's a parliamentary election. So we had elections on 14th for member of Parliament. We got members of Parliament directly elected and woman representative. And last time we had elections for workers. They sent 5 representatives. Older persons sent 5 representatives. Persons with disabilities convened in Jinja, elected. There are 5 representatives. We had a delegates conference in Arua, where we elected the National Female Youth MP. The youth sent 5 members of Parliament, one of whom must be female. And so all the youth had gathered, the delegates gathered in Arua last week, and we had the election of the National Female Youth MP. So now with the 4 MPs, regional MPs, the youth will have their 5 representatives. Last Friday we had elections for UPDF. The 10 representatives were elected, and so Parliament then becomes complete. We've done the elections, and today marks a very, very critical milestone on our roadmap. parliamentary elections will be concluded. Yes.
Well, away from the parliamentary elections, for the youth that are happening today, and they have commenced because of voting in Uganda starts from 7 and by 4. All those that are in the line where the polling officer will stand at the end of the line are given leeway to vote. But once it's 4, you have no access to a polling station to vote. I will now move to another all-inclusive, that is election, which is going to be on Wednesday. Uganda has not give up. That is the election for sub-county chairpersons and councillors. Paul, now many are wondering, we've elected mayors, we've elected division mayors, we've had their councillors, we've had, what is this election? Break it please to a lay person to better understand why they should elect and who are they electing.
Now, for our law, our constitution provides for local government structures, and there is a Local Government Act which now establishes the structures, and our leaders at local government are elected through elections, you know, where we the people come up and determine who our leaders should be. So we've had elections at the city and the district level, which ordinarily we call LC5. So we had the LC5 elections, that was on the 20th. You can say that, where we elected district chairpersons and their councillors, and city chairpersons and their councillors. City chairpersons, the leaders we call mayors. In the case of Kampala Capital City, that's the Lord Mayor. The other cities, I think we can still use the word mayor because the authority is a bit different from the other cities. So we also came to the next level on the 25th, where we had elections for municipality chairpersons and city division chairpersons. Municipality,
so of course, for cities.
For cities.
For cities, and we have how many cities? About.
So we have the first election was for city and district chairpersons and councillors. Then the next one was for municipality and city divisions.
Hope our audience get the difference.
Yeah.
In Kampala, the first was for the Lukwago. That is the Lord Mayor.
Oh yeah, you can say that.
Then we went to division mayors.
City division.
City division mayors. The likes
their
of Muganya Mamachi India and their councillors.
Yes.
The likes of Salim Uhuru.
Yeah, now I think in Central.
Nakawa, we have, I don't know who took Nakawa there. We have
and then the Kawempe.
So that is division level.
That's city division.
Yes.
Because that is a city division. Now we have 11 cities in Uganda. We have Kampala Capital City and 10 other cities. If you looked at a city like Masaka, that means we had elections for city divisions of Masaka. Masaka has 2 divisions. So the city divisions had their elections on that day, as well as municipalities. We also have municipalities in Uganda. Kabale municipality.
Are there about 50
Kololo municipality. Well, I've not captured it. I don't have a trade on this. We have Kasese municipality. We have some municipalities across the country. They also had their elections for municipality leaders. So on the 25th, we had elections for municipalities, chairpersons and councillors, as well as city division chairpersons and councillors. Now the elections that is left is what we call LC3 election. LC3 election is the sub-county. It is the rural. We normally call it sub-county. And I think we know our sub-county is Gombolola. I think it is easier to say that. Gombolola LC3, and that is the election where we're going, because it is also provided for in our structure. So what we are left with is election of our chairpersons at Gombolola, that local level, 3, and also the town council, because it's also at that level 3, and the municipal division. So if you go to a municipality like, you know, Entebbe municipality, it has the municipality divisions, municipal divisions. If you go to a municipality like Nansana, it has municipal divisions. So what we'll be having as elections are the elections of chairpersons and councillors of municipal divisions and town councils and sub-counties. Now there will be no elections in Kampala. Kampala City, because Kampala City, the divisions already have their elections. So we don't have elections in 135 districts because the 11 cities already had their levels elected. So when we go to a city like Masaka, its divisions already elected their leaders. So will not be, it doesn't have a municipality anymore. So there are no municipal divisions in Masaka. There are no municipal divisions in Hoima because it's a city. The city divisions already had their elections. There will be no elections in Gulu City because the city divisions already have the elections. But there will be elections in Toro where the municipal divisions will be having the elections, Kabale where they will be having the elections, and other municipalities across the country, because we have municipalities across the country. Yeah.
Paul, won't this affect voter turnout? Of what we've been saying, I think, is it voter fatigue, for lack of a better word? How are we going to ensure that there is turnout? Because from presidential you have that and parliamentary, and all the elections we've been having, except for electoral colleges, you see that there's been a decline in voter turnout.
Well, local government elections are very important, and that's why we use this opportunity to reach out to people, to voters, and say that please, because now these are the local leaders who directly deal with you, manage your affairs, health, transportation, trade, your markets, your local markets there, health center issues, and all those things that are at the local level. They are your local leaders. We've had national elections, and now we've come down to our village elections, and I think that's why it's important to participate in that. It is still a message we are sending out that all elections are important. I think also local government elections are even more important, if I would look at it like that. They affect you day to day directly. So the challenge goes back to all of us to mobilize candidates, the political parties which presented candidates who have been campaigning. And of course, the Electoral Commission is continuing to send out the message that please set aside time and come and participate in this election. Yeah, our electoral law in Uganda determines that we hold elections within this period. Because by law we are supposed to hold elections in the first 30 days of the last 121 days of the term of office. So there is no way we can have elections stretched beyond the 30 days which are given to us by the Constitution. And I think that's why all elections take place within a period of 30 days.
Together because of the Constitution.
And the constitutional timeline that is given to us. And we can imagine that perhaps some people say maybe we're having too many elections, but this happens once every 5 years. So maybe what we need to do is to set aside time and attach importance to elections, make our voice heard, come out in large numbers and vote, because it's very, very important. It's a freedom that we enjoy, given to us by the Constitution. It's a right that we have to exercise because the Constitution gives us that right.
But looking at these elections, we've seen more malpractices in elections at these lower levels. What went wrong? For presidential, parliamentary, there wasn't so much, but they just concluded. There are so many irregularities, votes, stuffing. What happened? What didn't you do right?
I think if you look at the elections, we are, of course, still conducting elections, but some reports are already coming in, and some complaints, of course, are already coming up. Yes. And they are part of the electoral process. We know complaints are part of the electoral process, but we are yet to determine really the different grounds which people are raising. There are different parties or stakeholders or former candidates who are saying we are going to courts of law, and we are petitioning the results of the elections, and perhaps they have different grounds. We've not been served with many of these, other than what we see circulating on social media videos and all that. We know and we think that on our part as Electoral Commission, we did our job, our mandate, and delivered those materials to you. How did the officials handle the materials? Why do we see some of the materials appearing to be, either abused or misused or things like that? If you're talking about that, why do we see, some videos running around showing because if I want to assure the country that we established a very strict security regime for this election, to the extent that the ballot paper and the declaration of result form, as it was signed off and printed in the factory, it was never opened. This election has been leak free. There's been no leakage of a ballot paper, that this is the ballot paper for presidential, for parliamentary, for local government. There's been no leakage of declaration of result form, because they have been sealed. They've been opened at polling stations. So we need to look at this. Is it possible that, first of all, are these videos true? Are they really our materials? Is it possible that someone, the moment it was opened, because we've started looking at allegations, did someone take a picture of that and they quickly run and reproduce, because the candidates are known, the logos are known, they're on our website, everything is known. Did someone reproduce it? Or what exactly happened in some of those instances that we see? So these are things that we'll be examining. We've seen also that some of the videos have content that is not even Ugandan. Some ballot boxes have green leads which are used in a neighboring country. So, but others are even people speaking local languages here. So we're also interested in that. Actually, they're being investigated. But other things that you're talking about as irregularities, areas we will examine, and some of course are still with police under investigation. And this explains why, when we're doing the final tally for presidential, for example, we left out 83 polling stations. We did not include them in the tally.
Talk about that. You left out 83 polling stations representing 54,357 voters. What happened to the right of these people? Because, Paul, is it going to be that whenever there are irregularities, then you skip that polling station? Suppose we wake up and half of the polling stations have irregularities.
Then we shouldn't do, we should comply, because we issued guidelines for this exercise.
So the right of
Ugandans,
54,000 Ugandans.
It is considered. We certainly consider that. That's not what we set out to do. We want everyone who has come out to cast their vote, so that vote to translate into a choice which is declared at the national level, or at the regional level, or at whatever district level. But if a polling station, if there is non-compliance with the guidelines, then we cannot take that result, and it will affect the choices of the Ugandans. And that's the cost that we pay as Ugandans when we do not follow the guidelines for the elections.
Or when you do not do a good job.
Pardon?
Or when you do not do.
We did a good job. We delivered the ballot boxes, the ballot papers, and if, for example, I can give you some, we gave reasons when we published this. We gave reasons.
You said
that no, we gave clear reasons that elections were held.
Polling station.
Yeah, for the 83. But we gave reasons. We issued you ballot papers. For example, and you ticked all the ballot papers and even went to the extra ballot papers that we provide. You know that we provide extra ballot papers at each station. Why? Because there could be someone who has spoiled a ballot paper and they will need to replace. On the results, we had as spoiled ballot papers. We accounted for them. So you went ahead and ticked all the papers we gave you. That is not allowed. So that one is automatically it is automatically not included in the tally, and those people are, first of all, officials are blacklisted, and then they are handed over to police for investigation. Now, on another case, elections have been held at UBC station, the results have been counted, the forms are filled, and as our officer transports the materials, is ambushed. And the box is grabbed and tampered with. When that happens, you know automatically that that box, that polling station is not going to be. It is tampered with. We can't risk. Someone will go to court and will pay even a heavier price. So when there is non-compliance, it becomes a cost. It takes away the 54,357. But that can be, that could be a ground. If you included that, it could be a ground for a petition, and we could lose the election. We could go back and spend even much more money. And so that goes back to us and to appeal to our national conscience that let's be real patriotic, let's be Ugandans, let's accept results of elections. Why do you riot and conduct yourself in a riotous manner and destroy the polling materials? When you do that at some of those stations, we could not take them in.
So as the commission is clear, you also accept there were irregularities in these polling stations, and that is why you had to cancel.
No, we cancel them because there is malpractices, and now the question starts, when you investigate, who is responsible for this? Who is responsible for this, so that we hold them to account. But now, as it is, 83 polling stations out of the 34,684, they are off the final tally, and they are reading zero on the final tally. Although, like you've seen, the agents already had their declaration of results form. They're saying, for us, we voted. Why are you giving us 0? It's because the returning officer never received that declaration of results form. It was tampered with, and you can't take in something that has been tampered with.
Paul, let's also understand, we've always had issues of voter turn-up. This time in the presidential and parliamentary elections, we had a decline of 11% in terms of voter. Are there possibilities where at one polling station you can register 100% turn-up, voter turn-up, to a particular polling station in Uganda?
Now, we've had about discussion about voter turn-up, but up to 100%. When a returning officer, presiding officer, and the agents return a declaration of results form, okay, without any, when they return a declaration of results form, with filled completely and duly signed, we cannot reject it as Electoral Commission. We cannot reject it, even when it reflects 100% turn-up.
But can that
be a system flagged off?
This come up? Because you have about 700 voters in a particular polling station all vote on that day.
Yeah, it is possible. It can happen. We don't know. We do, because this is a declaration of results form that has been duly returned. The Electoral Commission is bound to receive it. The other questions can arise later. It becomes the system, because the system is automatic. The system is designed to reject a declaration of result form that comes with 100 plus 1%. It is not designed to reject 100% turn-up. So I think that is where the discussion is at this point. When a presiding officer returns a form signed by the presiding officer and the agents present at that polling station, the system receives it and can accept it, and it can be reflected on the final tally. What is rejected automatically is when there is a 101% turnout. And that's why some polling stations were actually cancelled.
As time our viewers can join us by simply calling in, that is the line 0702 23 24 25. 0702 23 24 25. That is the number to call in as we are looking at elections, more so the coming elections for sub-county and sub-county chairpersons and councillors that will round up the electoral calendar. That is on the 3rd of this very month. Feel free to call in. Just give us your name, where you're calling from, and also please move away from your TV set or completely turn down the volume. We'll be able to communicate. That is the number on your screen, 0702 23 24 25. As I have the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, Paul Bukenya, and we're discussing a couple of issues. So you said it is possible that as long as in the system 100% is fitted?
Because, you know, and I'm talking about tallying systems. And the way it is designed, it can receive and accept a form with 100% turn-up. It will not, and it will reject, and that's why some of the reasons we gave for the 83 polling stations, that some of them had more than 100% turn-up. And I think that's how it is. It is at this moment. Yes, we can receive and take that result.
All but a polling station can choose to vote one person.
The decision, a polling station can choose one person. We've seen that. We've seen 0 score by candidates at local government, parliamentary and presidential level. And we've seen 100% score. We've seen you know, areas where there is a dominant candidate. So that's not strange for a candidate to take all the votes at a polling station. And for that matter, we've seen polling stations where there is all the agents for only one candidate. We've seen it at parliamentary, local government and presidential level.
I think we have a call online. Hello. Oh, sorry, Vosu, please keep calling. That is the number on your screen, 0702 23 24 25. 702 23 24 25, and Paul Bukenya will be able to respond to all your questions as today the youth convene in different regions of Uganda to elect their representatives in parliament. But also on Wednesday we'll have elections for, that is, sub-county chairpersons and sub-county councillors. Hello, good morning.
Yes, morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
My name is Chisitu Deogratius.
Yes, Chisitu.
Yes, I'm serving as a councillor in Ngoti sub-county, Konge parish.
Yes.
But the news is around here. They are telling us that there are no photos on our voter card. I mean
on the ballot paper.
Is that true?
Okay, thank you, Chisitu. You will be responded to by Paul. I'll still pick another caller. Please feel free to call in. That is the number on your screen, 0702 23 24 25. Please call in, give us your name, move away from your TV set, or turn down the volume. Then Paul Bukenya will be responding to all your questions that you will have raised during this program. Hello, good morning.
Morning to you, how are you?
Fine, how are you doing?
Yeah, I want to get for that man.
Okay.
The other time when he was studying, when they were studying from Chambogo, they raised the percentages of like the second last announcement. They were like they have the President Museveni has got 68, and then has got 34.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think I've gotten your question, but I didn't get your name, please. But I think I've gotten your point. He looks at percentage is not changing, while figures are changing. That is something that we've also had, but you'll clarify that they were seeing figures coming in, percentages not coming in. But of course, in the interest of time, allow me, okay, let me pick this final caller. Hello, good morning. Sorry, we lost that one. Paul, let's first address the two issues. Kisitu says they have heard he is a candidate in the sub-county race, but it's hard that they're not having the pictures of the candidates on this.
Now, for the elections that we have on the 3rd, which are coming up on Wednesday, elections of sub-county chairpersons, town council chairpersons, municipal division chairpersons, their ballot paper will have the photograph of the candidate for chairpersons. And it will have the full name of the candidate. It will have the symbol of the political party. If they are political party candidates or if they are independents, their symbol will be there. The name of the political party will be there, of course, and the photo. But when you come to the ballot paper for councillors for Wednesday, those are the direct elected councillors and the councillors representing women at the sub-county, town council and municipal division. The ballot paper will not bear the photograph of the candidate for councillor. It will have the full names of the candidate, the symbol of their political party, or if they are independent candidates, their symbol will be there. It will have the name of the political party, okay, for party flag bearers. You know, when you're a party flag bearer, we'll put there the name of the party as well. But for councillors, it is true that the ballot paper for councillors does not bear the photograph. Yes, it is true, and that's not a mistake. It's not a mismatch. It's not a problem. That's the ballot paper as it is designed for purposes of councillor elections at sub-county level, town council level, municipal division level. Yes.
Then also a gentleman who didn't give us his name, he raised a question that he still see percentages changing much as results were coming in.
Yeah, when we declared the elections, the results of presidential elections on the 16th of January, we were less by, out of the 34,684 polling stations, there are 1,223 polling stations that had not been included on the final tally, and they were still in the process. So it is true that although now a clear winner had been obtained, because by law you look at a person who has gained 51% of the vote. Presidential election is determined by an absolute majority. The moment you get 51%, you can declare a person elected at that point. You can start your celebrations. So then, of course, subsequently, we processed the rest of the results, the 1,223 polling stations. They did not change much of, you know, what we, because even their total voter figure, if you look at all those polling stations, their total figure was about 690,000 voters. Not all of them turned up to vote. Those who turned up to vote, when we assigned the you know, when we gave you know, the way they had voted, we attached, you know, the results to each candidate, it didn't change significantly the result of the election.
The percentage levels.
So the percentage could, you could see that the percentage has changed by 1, 3, 4, or a digit, and that is fine. That's fine. That's what was left behind. It was less than 1 million votes. It was split between the candidates, and not all the candidates got exactly the same. You could see that out of the, I don't have it here, so I can't, maybe just for illustration, you could see that out of the new, you know, the remaining polling stations, someone has gotten 300 votes and topped up to them, and another one has gotten these other votes topped up to them, and that's how we declared.
Which statistically does not change a percentage.
The percentages actually changed. If you looked at them critically, the percentages changed by a digit. Someone would change by a digit. A few of them changed by a digit. I know that if FDC changed by some digit, or a point somewhere, NRM changed by a point, NUP, the candidate for NUP changed by, but the overall, and that's the reason why at the declaration of 16th, the commission explained that the remaining polling stations will not stop us from, you know, declaring, to fulfill the requirement to declare within 48 hours. Because they cannot change the result of the election. We already have a 51%, and even if all the people at the polling stations within the 1,223 polling stations came in and voted for the first runner-up, they still would not overturn. You know that principle, we use it a lot, and even in sports. You know, last time I'm an Arsenal guy, we were not doing so well, we play well and then we lose, and but last time Liverpool was given the right to win, and there are 4 games to play, and I say that even if the second one takes all the games, even if Liverpool loses all the games, and poor Arsenal were just looking. And
finally, in the interest of time, we've seen the NUP going to the Supreme Court today, petitioning the Supreme Court. What does this mean to a body as the Electoral Commission that sponsors this process of elections?
First of all, petitions are part of the electoral process, and our laws, for that matter, provide for how to address grievances. Elections are contests, and they are processes. They are long processes. If you remember very well, we started the roadmap in 2018, and along the way, all the activities that we've been conducting, someone may raise an issue that I was not comfortable, I'm not happy with this, I have a problem with this.
But does this discredit you from...
No,
this is
it
the
doesn't.
fourth time an election,
that's why I'm building it up.
2001, 2006, 2016.
I think it doesn't. Again. I think it doesn't. And that's why you see that it's a good thing that the laws, electoral laws of Uganda, provide for avenues to address grievances, because by nature elections have you know, create you know, those issues, because the electoral process is such a long process that, and there are so many things that happen during the electoral process. There are so many stakeholders who participate in electoral processes, and along the way there are issues that emerge that probably leave some parties aggrieved. Okay, and they can contest a part of the electoral process, or the whole electoral process, or a final result for that matter. I can't speculate. I don't know what is going to be brought to the courts of law, but it is good that our laws provide for avenues to address grievances. This is a good practice. The petitions are part of the electoral process, and when an election management body is challenged in courts of law, it does not mean that they didn't do a good job. You now need to look at the merits, the issues that are brought up. So we see election petitions in all our throughout the Commonwealth. You know, we do a lot of benchmarking within the Commonwealth. Australia, the UK, their petitions, the United States, you know, well, that's not a member of the Commonwealth, but you know that India, which is within the Commonwealth, all the Commonwealth electoral regimes have that. So let's not speculate. Let's wait and see the issues that are brought up, and then we'll be responding to them. But it is good that instead of violent and all that, there is an avenue where someone can say, I'm challenging the result of an election, or even the entire electoral process.
Thank you, Paul Bukenya, who is the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission. We've been discussing a couple of issues rotating around elections, but don't forget that as the youth today elect their representatives to Parliament in the regions of Uganda. We have an election that is on Wednesday. That is elections for sub-county chairpersons and sub-county councillors. Go exercise your mandate as a responsible Ugandan. Remember, these local council elections are very vital and important as the presidential and parliamentary. Have a lovely day. God bless you. God bless Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Double data. Airtel introduces double data.